Can you hear me? Okay. So welcome, is this good? Welcome to the Greater Lafayette Resistance Fair. My name is Lisa Dullum, and I am the president of Greater Lafayette Indivisible, and I'd like to tell you my story. So on November 8th, 2016, like a lot of you, I thought that I was going to witness the election of the first female president of the United States. But instead, I laid in bed in shock and in sadness as well. You guys all know what happened. And so after a few days of numbness and a lot of chocolate, I decided that I needed to get involved. And I found my place in Indivisible. Now at the time, Indivisible was just a Google document. But it told me how I could work with my members of Congress to try to stop the agenda of hate that I knew that was coming and was going to hurt so many people. And since then, I have found hope and purpose with the people of Greater Lafayette who, like me, want this country to live up to its ideals. We have worked with over 25 different Indivisibles across the state of Indiana, and together with over 6,000 Indivisibles across the country, and with organizations like those in the Fellowship Hall, we have saved Obamacare, we've resisted the Trump tax scam, and we've had achieved election victories in New Jersey, Virginia, and Alabama. So this event is our kickoff for the year, and it's also an opportunity for all of you to get involved, be informed, and find your place. We've got some great speakers that are going to be speaking here today. We have some great organizations that hopefully some of you saw back in the Fellowship Hall. And if you look at your pamphlet that we handed out when you walked in, we've got some actual actions that you can take to resist this agenda. So I hope you take the opportunity to take advantage of the resources here. And I hope that you decide to commit to take actual action this year. And I'd like to quote Kate McKinnon as Hillary Clinton after the election, after she sang that beautiful song, Hallelujah, and it brought tears to my eyes. She said, "I'm not giving up, and neither should you." So, keep resisting, keep persisting, find your place. Our democracy needs you. So with that, I would like to hand it off to our MC of the event, Andy Tucholsky.
Thank you, Lisa. I am so happy to see the great turnout here in the other hall because our government may be shut down, but the resistance is open for business. Lisa, I couldn't help but notice you delivered an SNL quote. I can't help but feel a little bit like Melissa McCarthy as Sean Spicer up here right now, just ready to plow into a crowd of, or perhaps I should be bragging about how our crowd size here has been bigger than the 2008 inauguration for Obama. You know, we all have, I'm a visiting professor of political science, and we all have our different ways that we initially become interested in politics. Everyone is here for a different reason. Maybe it's a specific issue that you're particularly passionate about. But for me, even as a kid, even in elementary school, I would check out biographies of different political heroes, of different presidents, and people like Martin Luther King Jr., who made a real difference in our democracy. And the one that stood out over all these years for me and that made probably the biggest impact to me was RFK, Bobby Kennedy. It was 50 years ago this year that he was killed. And one of my favorite quotes from him is the following: And I'll read it out loud for those of you that can't quite see it. There are people in every time and every land who want to stop history in its tracks. They fear the future, they mistrust the present, and they invoke the security of a comfortable past which, in fact, never existed. And I can't imagine, I have not heard a politician in 2018 be more prescient and to describe the Make America Great Again movement better than Bobby was able to do over 50 years ago. Well, to kick things off here, I want to congratulate everyone for making it an entire year under the Trump presidency. We made it. We didn't know if we'd survive, but we are here. It has been what I would describe as the Mad Libs presidency. You could fit almost anything into it and you would believe it because the news just comes so relentlessly. And I was trying to think of how we could kick things off, and I started to create a list of all the ways that things have changed over the last year. Just things that you couldn't have conceived under a different administration and how different that is. And I started to come up with a list, and I quickly realized that this event would become 3 hours of me listing terrible things that have happened, and then people ultimately crying or screaming or booing at me. And I thought that would be a really terrible way for us to spend a couple of hours together. So if you can see, I just listed a couple of things that you couldn't have conceived of a Muslim ban, or pulling out of the climate accord and leaving us isolated in the world on these really important issues. Rescinding DACA, our government is currently shut down, never mind the fact that we have a president that's currently under investigation by the special prosecutor. But I think that what I ultimately came down to, it has been a consistent, failing, basic test of leadership, a basic unfitness of this administration and this president. And I thought to myself, well, I can't just create a list that never ends and have it scrolling like the end credits to a movie of all the way that things have changed, because a picture really can say 1,000 words. And there are so many images over the last year that have disturbed me, and I'm sure that they've disturbed you as well. And the one that I kept coming back to was Charlottesville, because this was such a basic test. This was so easy for any president to get right. You had white nationalists marching in an American city. You had an innocent protester killed. And to have the President of the United States say that there are very fine people on both sides is wrong and it is racist. And even if you were someone who back in November of 2016 said, I'm going to give him a chance after the election, I don't see how you could have possibly given him a chance after something so basic and so wrong. And when I saw his belligerent, racist rant in response to Charlottesville, I thought to myself, here is someone who doesn't have the empathy required for the office. Here's someone who doesn't value diversity in our country. Here's someone who's incapable of telling the truth. And I'm sure that you would all agree with me today that empathy is not a weakness, it is a strength. That diversity is not a weakness, it is a strength of this country, and that the truth still matters in 2018. So we are gathered here today for you guys to connect with the community, and I just want to give you guys, before we turn things over to our speakers here, just a few ways that you can possibly get involved. If you see people walking around with the shirts, they tell you to resist, persist, insist, and enlist. We are 290 days away from the midterm elections. Let's create a wave, and let's send a message, a rebuke to this administration for what they have used last year to make their priorities. I've always wanted to say this because I probably will never be an elected like this again. Can I get an amen? Thank you. Persist, be in it to win it. It is not about one election. It is about creating change over the long term. Insist. Register voters, phone bank, canvass, get out the vote. For every person here, we are going to need you to bring 10 other people to the polls in November. And enlist, join groups that share your passion. That's part of the reason why we wanted to reach out to other advocacy groups in the community, because whatever your in is, whatever you are passionate about, try to connect with these people today. Try to make connections, find out when their next meeting is, so that you can continue to make a difference. Other ways you can take action today, hopefully at the end of each session we'll have time for questions. There are note cards at the end of each pew here. If you have a question, write it down. Someone from our group will collect them, and hopefully we'll have time for just a few questions for everyone up here. The second thing, turbovote.org. It's something really easy. It took me about 2 minutes to do it the other day. They will send you text and email reminders about elections, but also can help you apply for an absentee ballot. If you were like me in 2016, I could not physically wait to cast my ballot. I had made up my mind. There was nothing that was going to change towards the end of the election, and I wanted to vote as soon as possible. And then the last thing is donations. We have huge plans for canvassing, getting out the vote for November. The charge towards the midterm starts right now, and if you are feeling generous, I ask that you please consider donating at LafayetteIndivisible.com/donate. I have one last thing here. And the teacher in me is gonna make this a quiz, but can anyone tell me what that building is? There, I heard it, Independence Hall. Everyone dealt post-election. I assumed that because of the red brick, someone would say it's in West Lafayette. I just had a class there the other day. No, it's in Philadelphia. You're kidding yourself. My family in the spring last year took a trip out east, and we ended up going to a lot of great historical places, and one of them was Independence Hall. I had never been. And if anyone doesn't know the significance of that building in Pennsylvania, from May to September of 1787, that was when the Constitutional Convention was being held, and we had the forefathers of our nation coming together to put together this foundational document. These were imperfect men at an imperfect time, and they created an imperfect document, but it is something that we rely on, and we keep trying to make better over time. And at the end of those several months of trying to figure out how we would really provide this foundational document for our nation, a delegate turned to Benjamin Franklin, and he said, "Well, doctor, what do we got? A republic or a monarchy?" And Ben took a second to collect himself, and he said, "A republic, if you can keep it." And those 5 words are absolutely everything. If you can keep it. Because tomorrow is not guaranteed to any of us, and when America was founded, it is not our God-given right to continue on as a superpower in the world, and each and every one of us wants to leave this world a better place for the generations that follow. It is our duty to try to create a more perfect union. I know that there are people here who have been organizers and activists locally for years, decades. Thank you. Thank you for leading the way for people here today. But I also know that there are people who this might be their first public event. The past election might have been the thing that got them involved and really shook them to their core, and they're becoming activists and they're getting involved for the first time ever. And to you, I thank you and allow me to formally welcome you to the resistance.